I was going to try and do like music in the background like the old days. But every time you do like music or something, now Facebook censors you. And I even put like, the background music isn't mine, or I'll put like, I don't have copyrights to the song. But Facebook, man, they just censor you so bad, it's ridiculous. So anyway, we're going to be having Sabine come on. She's an angel mom. She's done an interview with me before. I just want people to start waking up on what's really going on. And I'm going to email her in a little bit, like a couple minutes, because I'm running late. See, we're supposed to go on about 8:15, and ever since Gina left, the cat's got like a vendetta against me. So I had to clean up a mess. It kind of sucks. Anyway, enough about that. So I'm going to have an angel mom speak from the heart, tell you about what's going on, more than what you could get on Fox News. The whole thing with immigration is a joke. Immigration in this country is a total joke. It should be something that's earned, not something that's given for free. So the angel mom who I have coming on is going to be Sabine Durden, who is a legal immigrant to the United States of America who worked hard to get here. Now, her son Dominic was brutally murdered by an illegal alien criminal, and she had the opportunity to be up on stage with many other angel parents that we've interviewed. Don Rosenberg, haven't got a chance to interview him yet, but hopefully soon. And the crazy thing about all this immigration stuff that you keep hearing about, it makes no sense to me. The liberals are doing whatever they can to get a vote. They don't care about citizens. They don't care about the U.S. citizen. They don't care. They'll sell the White House out faster than a dime bag in some hardcore liberal town. And we need to stand up for angel parents, veterans, blue lives. We need to prove that we're better than the everyday liberal that's just tearing this country apart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to email Sabina real quick, because I forgot to do it. I haven't done this in a while. And I'm going to make sure she gets on the video and have her tell you what they won't tell you on the news. So that's what my plan is. Hey, Jeffrey, if you're on, please share the video. Had a great conversation with Sabina earlier today before I went to the gym. Awesome. Being friends with the angel families is a privilege. It's something that I'm lucky to have, along with many people like Jeffrey Long and Ira and Gabe Sori and these guys. I'm a fan of what they do, so I'm a nobody. I don't think I have a show. This is just a Facebook Live. I don't think that I'm somebody on Facebook. Ready when you are. I'm reading it out loud as we're talking about it. Ready when you are. Hop on. Because we're not Fox News and we're not doing a radio show for sure, right? I gotta turn off the notifications on my crappy work phone. As we complain, right? Oh, let's see. Be doing a Facebook Live video, and then I got like my brother calling, a couple cousins. Don't say that! You're turning on your own people! I thought you were a liberal. No. I'm a Christian conservative, and I stand with American citizens first. Legal immigrants is something that we need to support. Legal. All right, she got the message right away. We'll add her on. I love her background. Her two flags are awesome. I used to do that when I did YouTube. Pictures of Dominic, it's awesome. Dom hugs. Jeffrey's on. Jeffrey, if you can help me share on the page. I don't know if I did. If you can help share on the pages, right on. Right on. It says it's adding you, Sabine. So connecting. It's my. I have this cat named Sancho, and ever since Gina left, he's been leaving messes. And I almost killed him 5 minutes ago, so that's why I'm late. I had to breathe.
Okay.
Calm down, Eric.
Is he still alive?
Yes, except for my neighbors keep leaving water for our animals, and they have water. I don't get it. So they make it seem like we don't take care of our pets. We take care of our pets. It's 66 degrees in the house. It's 102 outside. The pets are fine. So how you doing?
I'm good. Thank you. How about you, my friend?
I wore this for Tony. Let him know.
Yes. Yes. The ultimate brother.
I was going to wear the jersey, but I thought that might be too far since I'm not supposed to be promoting the NFL.
Next time.
So lately, you've been able to go to the White House.
You got to do an
Yeah.
amazing speech on a podium. And I was cheering you on. Someone yelled at me because I shared your post and tagged you in it. I wasn't trying to prove you were my friend. I was trying to show
Oh,
you the video and how they cut Aviac out of it. That kind of made me mad. You're a chairman on Aviac, and they cut that out. They only put in the voice. Did you notice that?
yep.
That
Well,
made
that's
me
all
mad.
right. It's okay. We know, but we get around them. We share our stories one way or another, one by one, or 100 or 1,000. It don't matter.
And all of the angel parents are doing a great job. I mean, you guys are so busy. I'll call like one of the Brian Inman. He is always, if he's not working, he's doing something to bring awareness to
Yeah,
people. It's awesome what you guys do.
it's an outlet. It's a release. Because if we wouldn't have something to do like this, I think I would go absolutely nuts, and they wouldn't like me in Arkansas anymore.
Well,
So,
I hope they understand that. I couldn't imagine. I am going crazy. Enza's been gone with Gina and her brother for a day and a half, and I'm
yeah,
going. You know what I mean? I'm like, I keep
you're
waiting for her
starting
to come
already to
downstairs and need a
withdraw.
diaper or something. I'm all by myself. Our house really is haunted. No, I'm kidding. But you know what I mean? It's just
Yeah,
nuts.
yeah. You never get
Let's
used to
hold
it.
on one second. I want to make sure because
Sure.
I'm going to be sharing this on many platforms outside of Facebook too. Just a quick one too on a recap of the last interview, and then I just want you to take the floor. It's your video.
You got it. Yeah, go ahead. Do your thing.
It's your video.
Oh, okay. So, well, when do you want me to start? That's okay. Where you want me to
Talking
start?
about your son Dominic,
Okay,
just a recap of the last interview real quick, and then I want to get on
got
your
you.
opinions about immigration and let people hear from an angel mom
Got you.
why people are being brainwashed and drinking the Kool-Aid they should not be drinking.
That's right.
This is kind
Well,
of good, though. I'm going to take a swig. No, I'm just kidding.
um, Dominic was my only child. He was 30 years old, love of my life, my best friend. And we moved from Germany when he was 10 years old. His dad was in the military. We moved to California, and great life. He was a great student. He got along with everybody, had lots of friends, made my heart happy. I was just so proud of my boy. Fast forward, he became a 911 dispatcher for the Riverside Sheriff's Department, and was quite well known for his job. He just had such a calm about him. I just received a notice from a sheriff who thanked him for making sure he got to go home to hug his kids. So anyway,
That's awesome.
Dominic's dad and I got divorced, and for the last 10 years of Dominic's life, him and I, we shared a household, went riding our motorcycles, went out on vacations, had fun. It was just a good life. I was excited for the next day and next month. And he was a pilot, a volunteer firefighter. He was always up to something, doing something. And it was always a joy to kind of in my head play this game. Well, I wonder what he's going to do next month. And he wanted to become a motorcycle cop and then a helicopter pilot for the sheriff's department. And then I met wonderful Anthony, the love of my life. He came into our
True
life.
champion. He's also a Denver Broncos fan, even though we're supposed to be against
Yes.
the NFL right now.
Yes,
No, I'm just
he's
kidding.
from Denver, so Colorado, and he's a great, really big Bronco fan. But he came into our life, and Dominic liked him right away. He knew he was a good guy, and he told me, he said, "I'll walk you down the aisle getting married to this guy." And I was like, "Nah, that ain't gonna happen." Well, it will happen. So on July 11th, Dominic took Anthony and myself to the airport in Ontario, California, to fly to Atlanta for a family reunion, and had fun on the way there. And we messed with him that we hid cameras all over the house, so if he has a big party, we would know. And we get to the curb at the
You
airport.
didn't trust Black Chocolate. You didn't trust him. You thought he was going to have a bunch of women at the house.
German
Huh?
chocolate. German chocolate.
German chocolate. Sorry, my bad.
German chocolate, yeah. German chocolate.
I'm
That's
bad
what
with
we
the
call it,
slang.
German. That's okay.
German
That's
chocolate.
all
You can
right. We
slap
got
me
you.
later. I can't believe I forgot that.
German chocolate. Yeah, that's what he called
If you're
himself.
wondering
No,
what I'm
I
doing,
actually,
I'm sharing the video too, so I'm not just looking away.
yeah,
So just so
no,
you know, I'm listening.
I know you. I know where you're at. I know your heart. So yeah, I fell over the curve. I tripped over the curve and fell into him, and he grabbed me and gave me the biggest hug and swirled me around, kissed me, and he said, "Well, see you in a couple of days, and love you." And I watched him walk to his truck, get in it, and I'm glad I didn't know that was the last time I saw my child alive. Because when by the time we got to Atlanta, it was early in the morning, and we went to Waffle House. We didn't want to wake Anthony's cousin up to go there, and as we left the little place, I lost all energy in me. I just collapsed, and we couldn't figure it out. Anthony took me to the car, set me down, and we're like, that can't be jet lag. I said, I don't know what it is. I have no energy. I couldn't even talk right. It was the exact moment Dominic got killed, 5:45 in California
Mm.
in the morning, a.m.
Every,
So
I've heard that
a
story
mother,
about
a father.
I've heard that
Hmm?
story about 10, 15 times, and it's still like it just happened. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry
Yeah,
about it.
no, thank you. Yeah, it's so something. I went laid down. My phone kept buzzing and buzzing, and I didn't pay attention. I wanted to sleep, and then finally I tried to call my voicemail, and it wouldn't let me. And I'm so grateful it didn't, because if I would have heard the messages on there, I would have grabbed the rental car and drove it off a cliff right there in Atlanta. So I knew something was up. I called his job, and they were strange, and they said, "Hold on, and please wait." And then the captain came on, and those words that you hear on TV, and I'm so sorry to let you know Dominic got killed this morning. It was as we screamed, we dropped, the disbelief, the anger that can't be. I just hugged him. That gotta be a mistake. And we called back, and yeah, it was true. I didn't know at that time what happened, who it was. I just thought he had an accident riding his motorcycle, flying his plane, something. I had no idea it was an illegal alien that took him out. So we went back to California and came home to a house that used to have so much joy and laughter. And I walk in the door and I see all his friends of ours greeting us. Nobody could talk. Everybody's just crying, and it was a mess. So fast forward, I was trying to figure out what happened. We went to the accident scene, and things didn't make sense the way it was explained to me. And then finally, and the police officer whispered in my ear to make sure to check a little deeper, because it was not an American that killed him, that this was preventable. And come to find out, it was an illegal from Guatemala. I refuse to use his name. I just don't
Yeah,
want to
don't
give
use
him
his
that.
name. We give too
Yeah,
much credit to these murderers.
yeah,
You're
we
right.
we know who it was, and found out he had 2 felonies that were played down by Riverside. It's a sanctuary city. Whether they called themselves that at the time or didn't, but they were. Their actions were. He was deported once. He came back, had a DUI, no license, no insurance, felony, yeah, illegal, and they gave him probation. And then he was caught drunk driving on probation, and well, got probation again. And then 5 weeks later, when Dominic was riding his motorcycle to work, he drove an unregistered and uninsured truck, turned it in front of Dominic, and hit him so hard that it actually killed him on impact and threw him into a wall. And he laid on the sidewalk. There were 2 Marines behind him going to work, and they witnessed this horrific scene. People were telling us they heard it sounded like a bomb went off. That was the sound that was described. And one of them stayed with Dominic, and the other one ran after the illegal running away. He wasn't even charged with hit and run. And so then going, talking to the DA, having to go through the morgue. Last time I got to touch my child he was cold. His hands felt like wax. So I'm trying to get a last a last kiss, a last hug, and it looked like him laying there sleeping with a smirk, but it didn't feel like him. So you go through that. You don't know your name. You don't know who you are. You don't know what time it is. You don't remember to eat. We had to, Anthony and I sat at times and promised each other, okay, if you take a bite, I'll take a bite. If you drink, I'll drink. People were around us kind, but it was still, there's no way to explain it, but you're in a black box, no light, and you try to feel your way around, don't know where you are. So we go through the memorial service, and it was so beautifully done by dispatch, and he had firefighters escort, and it was just touching to show how much they loved and respected him. Yeah, and then the DA, I'm asking questions. Say, how can this guy be charged with a misdemeanor without gross negligence? That it just doesn't make sense, and I don't have to be a lawyer to be able to understand this. And I got all this goobity gawk talk where nothing made sense, and they still didn't explain.
You were the second interview after Agnes Gibney, right?
Yeah.
And it's sad. We did 13 of them so far. 10 of them are on the YouTube channel too. But isn't it? And one of our angel moms who just hit loves are angel aunts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every time I hear somebody talk just like you, with the pain and the anguish they have in their heart, it's the same thing. These illegal alien criminals don't get charged. They get off. They have a better legal team. It's nuts, and we pay for it. Our tax money pays for it.
And yeah, we pay. And then of course he didn't speak English. Of course not. So we had to have a special translator because he spoke a special, not just Spanish. No, we needed extra, and then it was a different one, and then so it and yet the DA tells me, let's not go to trial. It's best to have a hearing, because if we go to trial, we can't talk about his previous deportation. And in my head, it still doesn't make sense. The whole justice system didn't make sense, and he's an elite.
Do you know if the judge was a Democrat or a liberal, just by chance? I mean, years later, did you ever find that out?
He was Hispanic, very liberal, and he was removed because it was found out later that he was very lenient with other Hispanic offenders.
Very biased, huh?
Oh, yeah, and it showed, because so we're going through it, and I still don't get it. I don't get the whole system, but okay, we were by ourselves. There was nobody to help us. And then the judge listens to the impact statements, and I have a grown man, Dominic's friend, Jared, losing it. Anthony telling about the son of his woman, the woman he's going to marry. And everybody crying, the whole courtroom was crying. And yet the judge looked at us, then the defendant got to speak in Spanish with his hands like this. He had on a shirt with crosses on it. Well, I guess he was trying to protect himself from the wrath of God coming down on him. So he's standing there with his hands like this, and he tells the judge, God gives life, God takes life. I was only on my way to work. And I actually try to look around and think, are we being pranked? Am I just in a really bad nightmare? And then the judge tells us, well, if I would have known all of this, I would not given him a deal. But since I gave the defendant a deal, the killer of your son a deal, I'm gonna have to honor that. And again, way back in my head, it was like screaming, but wait a minute, you're the judge, you don't have to give a deal. You can give him 365 days, which was the minimum for the misdemeanor. But now I know why he only got 9 months and 5-year probation. Because with 9 months, he doesn't have to be deported. If he would have given him 365 days, he would have been deported really quickly.
Yes.
So an illegal with 2 felonies, 2 DUIs, just ignoring our laws, thumping his nose at us, giving us all the middle finger. on our dime, on my tax dollars, on my son's tax dollars.
Stop right there. Your tax dollars that you pay every year, which you earn the right to be a legal citizen.
My
Tell everybody
son's
where you're
tax
from.
dollars. He worked
Your
hard
son's
for his
tax
money.
dollars.
My own son paid for that.
How
For his
despicable.
killer's defense. First he had a high-priced attorney. He got to bail out between the hearing for $10,000 cash. He's a day laborer. Well, I don't even carry 10,000 cash around or in the bank for that matter. Yeah. But he bailed out. He got to bail out. Illegal, killed an American citizen, you get to bail out. I wouldn't know anybody in my friend circle, in my family here, anybody that could get away with that. If I kill somebody and I had a felony and 2 DUIs, I would not get bail. If
you had a dime sack of weed on your person, you would spend 72 hours in jail while they're investigating and be separated from your family. And trust me, I know the law on that in every state because that's a federal law.
Yeah, or even if I commit if I steal a bracelet somewhere over $500, it does not make sense no matter how you explain it. So not only do you go through the grief and because it turns your life inside out. There's no way to describe it. And I pray nobody else will ever have to feel it, but sadly it will. So this guy gets bailed out. He's so arrogant because I thought he would flee. I thought he was gone with no. Oh no, I got away with all of this other stuff. I'm gonna go right back and show him who the boss is. He came back. So he spent 35 days in jail, a whole whopping 35 days. I bet you his mother was so distraught being separated from her child for 35 days. And if it wasn't for the grace of God, for Anthony's support, for all the friends that rallied around us, people I didn't know, I gained strength. And now I started realizing what this illegal alien issue thing is. I knew about illegal aliens being right there across from Home Depot. That's where it happened. He was trying to catch a truck picking up illegals. So he was in a hurry. I knew about it. I never hired them because I remember somebody telling me early on, don't ever hire an illegal because if they break a leg on your property, they're moving in. But that was the extent of it. I didn't know more. I didn't know how many crimes are committed, from identity theft to robberies, to hit and runs, to drunk driving, all of that. And yeah, so I got loud. I started making sure that my son would not be forgotten. I promised him that the last time I touched him in the coffin before he was cremated. I have his ashes in my locket, and I always have this with me. The urn with his ashes goes with me to Washington, everywhere. And I promised him, I said, I'm going to make sure this was not in vain. And then an ICE agent contacted me because he heard about Dominic's story. He was livid. He said, we're tired of it. We're tired of these revolving doors in the detention centers. I'll tell you where he's at. I can't tell you my name, but I can tell you where he is at, and you need to go there. So he told us he was held in Adelanto, in the desert in California, towards Victorville. And Anthony and I went there just about every week, and we would sit there in the front, letting them know we're not going away. He's not going to sneak out the back door, because I was told sometimes they open the back door and let him out. They're overcrowded. And I'm going to make sure that this guy will be deported. And it took us a year and a half. A year and a half. I didn't even have a right.
A year and a half that you had to fight for justice. That's despicable by our government.
Yeah. And when he had his hearing, because of course now all of a sudden, I mean, wow, just a miracle. He must have had that hand laid on him and healed. He spoke English because he told the judge he need, overnight. How amazing, huh? Wow. So he told the judge he needed amnesty. He needed amnesty. Well, thank God that didn't go through. I got to write a letter, but I didn't have the right to sit in there because by accident they let me in that little courtroom, and then the killer of my son complained that I was sitting in there, and they escorted me out. I'm like,
isn't that sad? How they make you the criminal, just like they did with Wendy, Judy, Kathy Hall, Angie Morphin. They always flip it. They always flip it. So Agnes Gabney gets attacked on Facebook. She gets attacked on Facebook for sharing her story. How disgusting people are.
Oh, that's a norm now. I'm so used to it. They call Dominic roadkill. Roadkill happens.
Oh my goodness.
I'm glad that N ding 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 is gone. I wish you would have killed yourself. You can still do it and join your worthless son. Those are just samples of it. And I'm wondering, I said, don't they know when a mother loses a child, there is no bigger pain? You couldn't hurt me if you tried. There is no.
I'll tell you what, though. I'll tell you what. I will throw a beatbox and a bitch slap to somebody who says that to you again. That's despicable. That's gross.
I'll let you know. I have a little Twitter army. I have a little Twitter army. When those trolls are showing up, that Twitter army jumps on him and they dismantle him, and then he gets blocked. And so but it comes with the job. We didn't sign up for it, but I expect it. I get it. People are not happy with what we're talking about, that we're sharing something that was supposed to be hush hush. I didn't know why. I was trying to figure out this whole time while I'm going through this process, why are illegals so protected? I didn't get it. Do they work cheap? Okay, but then you might get crappy work, and then where you gonna get your warranty filled?
Yeah, what makes me mad is when you go on Fox News, or when Marianne Mendoza goes on Fox News, and she has to talk so fast to get the facts out there, just like you do, because they're trying to cut you off. I mean, I was watching an interview she did a couple months ago, and she's going 100 miles a minute to make sure that people are getting Donald Trump doesn't even know the real facts of illegal alien criminals and the activities that are going on. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
He's in shock. I saw him standing behind you, and he's going, why are people telling me this?
Yeah, it's amazing what's been kept hidden from the public. And so going through this, the news reporters, they were around at the beginning. One of them told me, well, we came to report on the accident, and then we saw how many people in crosses, and it was just a packed corner. And so they figured out he was very much liked. So they came to the house. But once I found out about illegal alien crime and what this guy was and how he got away with all of that, they stayed away. I got to John Fury, who now works for Voice. He worked in Washington, D.C. with Jessica Vaughn. Center of Immigration Studies, I believe, is the right description. And they invited me to come to Washington to testify in front of a judiciary hearing. It was November 2013. Sometimes I'm a little off with dates. But so I flew to Washington by myself, and I met Jamil Shaw. I met Paul Babu, the sheriff from Arizona. And I've never done anything like that before, and went and testified and walked out, and there was nobody. Nothing. It's just, that's when I started realizing there's something else to this. This isn't the norm. Now I'm meeting other victims. Don Rosenberg saw me on TV being interviewed about the death of Dominic when I didn't even know it was an illegal. He knew already. He knew by the description of the media that Riverside man killed dispatcher. He knew already that everything smelled and looked like another illegal alien killed somebody. And so he got in contact with me, and we've been friends since. Then
You know,
I watch TV.
I was
Yeah.
supposed to do an interview with Don, and I just haven't got a chance yet. But I'll tell you what, he's fearless
Well,
when he's on
okay.
that microphone.
Yes, he is,
He
and
will
he's
just say
our.
whatever he wants and he needs to.
Yeah, I call him Rain Man
Funny.
because he has this thing for numbers, statistics.
Oh
That's
yeah.
his thing. Yeah. So, with over the next month, I hear about. I watch TV and I see Marianne burying her son, and I'm just
Brandon, yeah.
floored. Then I hear one after the other after the other. And time flies, and you're just you're in disbelief because you want to believe in your heart that our country protects its citizens. So when I came over from Germany and stood in line and filled out paperwork, got my citizenship, all legally. I didn't drag my child across the desert. I didn't break laws and then have somebody else pay for it. It took me 5 years and a whole lot of money, standing in line, a lot of paperwork to become a citizen. And I was so proud of it because I wasn't born American.
Learning the history of the United States, learning how to become a citizen, paying hundreds of dollars, couple thousand, I don't know how much you pay, probably a lot of money.
Thousands of dollars. Yeah, and so for me, I wasn't born an American. I chose to become an American, and it's such pride when I had my little flag at the convention center after I was sworn in. And you think your government protects you and your child when you do right. That's how it's supposed to be. You know, Dominic was Volunteer of the Year in Moreno Valley in 2012 for giving all of his time to volunteer work, helping others. So now I'm learning that that's not the case. And I wrote a letter to Obama. I never heard anything. But he hosted illegals at the White House. Couldn't write back. I wrote a letter. Then I was so angry. I wrote a letter to Mrs. Obama. And I got a form letter back. So I wrote on that form letter, the next time somebody tells you about their deceased loved one, maybe you could write on the top, I'm so sorry for your loss, and then go into your same BS that you hand to everybody. So I got a call, and I got a call from the White House, and it was her assistant, and she said, well, we apologize. You weren't supposed to get that form letter. You know, we really care. And then I got another letter that had her stamp on it. So, okay, great. That was a little bit too little, too late. So still everything's fading away. Nobody talks about it anymore. It's like, okay, he's dead. You cremated him. It's a year later, 2 years. Should be over it by now. And then I get a call on, got to track back a little bit. Every year on July 12th, which is coming up, on the day he died, I call it the Angelversary. And I would have a open house. I would cook for days just to keep my mind busy because your mind plays tricks. You remember the last time you ate together, the last time you laughed together, and you just go through it. So I cooked. The house was open, pool open. Dominic's Legos outside in a little tent that he used to use as a kid. And we had hundreds of people coming by all day long, fire department, police, his friends. And it was a big party, talking about Dominic, sharing stories and celebrating his life. And so July 10th, 2015, I got a phone call. And and it was like, candidate Trump would like to meet you in Los Angeles. And I'm like, yeah, right. And I hung up because I thought it was one of Dominic's playing a prank, which he was a big prankster. But they called back and said, no, we would be honored to meet you at the Beverly Wilshire. And then a few other families. We met candidate Donald J. Trump at the hotel, and he came in a room. We sat with him at a table, and we got to share our stories just with him. And you could see the pain in his eyes. He had tears. We laughed, we cried, and each one of us got to share our story as long as we needed. And at the end, he looked at us and...
Isn't it crazy? And I'm not trying to cut you off. I just want to add this in there. I've talked to Tanya many times, and she says, Tanya Burgess. She says, "Oh, Donald Trump's a lot different when the cameras are off with the families. He's very
Yeah.
caring.
Yeah.
He has to say certain things because he has to catch the attention of the media." See, that's
Yeah.
the thing with the liberals. They always forget that he's good at playing head games to make things work.
Yeah. And he is very kind. And one thing I noticed, which it was so distinct, when you talk to him, he looks at you and you feel like you're the only one in the room. So you feel very important. You feel heard. And that's what he did. Nobody else listened. So once we were done sharing our stories and crying, he said, okay, so nobody listens to you, huh? Well, we're going to change that from today on. We had no idea. So he said, come with me. So he marched with us in the next room where the media was stacked to hear him speak. So he got up on the podium and told them that all these families suffered loss of a loved one because of an illegal, and you will now hear their stories. So one after the other, my knees was buckling because I used to be afraid of public speaking. Dominic still laughing about that. I would clam up and forget English and start German and sweating. And I knew.
Hey, I don't even know Spanish, and I do that on video sometimes. I'm all, oh.
But at that moment, I knew that was Dominic's voice. Donald Trump made sure Dominic had a voice. And I was my son's voice. Who could tell this better than mom? And I got to share that. And all of us went through it. And we didn't even get out the hotel. All of a sudden, CNN, oh, can we send you a car tomorrow, pick you up? We were like, sure. And that's when it started. And that's when I started to learn that different people try to trip me to say something negative about then candidate Trump. Oh, he can't be that serious. I remember one of them, she asked me, so do you really think that he can build a wall? And she had that resting face on.
Oh, you mean she was talking to you after she did a line of Tide Pods, so she was all over the place.
Yeah, it was like,
I got you.
It was like this face. There was no line.
She pulled a Joan Rivers on you.
You really think he could build a wall like that? And I looked at her, and at that time, I still did my rolling eyes, and I learned to be better on camera. But I said, really? He's building 95-story skyscrapers. I'm sure he can put a wall together. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a good one.
He started with $1 million, and like he said with his hair, now he's worth 11 billion. Well, 3 billion as a president. No.
So yeah, I mean, and so going through these different interviews, I learned that they were trying to trick you in saying something or twist your words. And it's easy to get caught up in it. But then I'm like this. If you tell the truth and if you tell your story, I don't care what time, you can wake me up middle of the night and I will tell you the same thing because that's what happened. And
Enza's gonna be 2 in I'm all forgetting my daughter's birthday, September 3rd. And she always sees the pictures of the angel moms because we always talk about them on every video I do. I try to mention the angel families because you guys were left behind in 2017.
Yeah.
Donald Trump, I think, is the one personally thinking about it because a lot of other people like Dennis Michael Lynch, we'll leave that alone, who forgot about Billy Inman, who forgot about Brian Lee and all these other people. There's so many angel families out there.
Oh,
I think Donald Trump
coming forward. More coming forward.
And that's what I was going to say. Donald Trump wants people to come forward, and they've been left behind, told not to speak up or say anything because the liberals want to have votes. They want votes. They don't care about us.
See, I didn't know that. I didn't know that at that time. So I'm going along. I'm doing a little interview here, interview there, and then comes the big kicker. We're on our way to Arkansas to visit Anthony's parents, to the spot where we're living at, where I'm sitting at right now. And I get a call if I could come be a speaker at the RNC in Cleveland. And I hung up again because I thought it was a prank, but again, it wasn't.
These people just keep calling me. I'm just kidding.
But now okay, I go to Cleveland. I'm there at the opening night with Marianne and Jamil Shaw, and I thought it was the biggest thing ever in my life. And I meet so many people that now I'm listening different. Okay, what is it about illegals? Why is there such a big defense for them? Now I learned Democrats are losing a lot of their voters. So now they need to replenish.
Their voters are becoming Trump supporters.
Yes. It's called the hashtag walk away. They leave the Democratic Party. Back then I didn't know what a hashtag was. So
have you been victimized by Barack Obama? Follow Donald Trump. No, I'm just kidding.
So I'm learning that okay, it's about votes. They're the voters in California. 1 million driver licenses means 1 million voters because automatically they registered. I didn't know that. I didn't care before. It wasn't under my it was right under my radar. I didn't know. Then I find out, okay, it's for cheap labor because they can pay him half. The big businesses, the lobbyists in DC. So it's a whole big mess where illegals are being used for cheap labor, for votes. And that doesn't mean I feel sorry for them. And going through this, I'm hearing, well, but they otherwise law abiding. And no, they're not. Well, there are good illegals. I don't care. I really don't because.
Wait a minute. Stop right there. Hashtag legal immigrant says she don't care about the illegal immigrant. That's how it should be in America. I don't either.
I
Go
really
home.
Don't. Because anybody that claims, oh, there's some good ones and not everybody's bad. Okay, I got it. But that doesn't give you the right to just waltz into our country.
They're all breaking the law.
Yes.
That's what I want to tell. I would love to bitch slap Chuck Schumer and just tell him, they're breaking the law. You're an attorney. You know the law. You're freaking hypocrite. I would love to just, you know what I mean? And that's not even a threat. I'm just saying, if I was a congressman, you would be seeing different things. I'm running in 2030. I'm kidding. I'm just messing around.
No, but I tell people, I say, okay, so you go open your door to somebody who says, oh, I'm a good one. I can just walk in. I'm not going to harm your children. We don't know. And I don't care if you're good or bad. And I'm not going to wait until a good one harms an American and turns into a bad one. We can't wait until they break another law. So
Sabine, I just got to say this before I forget. You're a badass. Because you've been contacted to give quotes in some people's books, and we've talked about that, and you're strong. That person sucks. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, he's watching. I used to help run some of the Dennis Michael Lynch fan pages, and I'll tell you what, he just mysteriously showed up in Washington D.C. You know what I mean? He mysteriously showed up and drove 6 hours. Opportunist. You know what I mean? Sorry, Dennis. DML. I meant to use your initials. I'm sorry.
That's okay. The strength comes from you have three choices when a tragedy like this hits. You take yourself out, and I was close to, and I always tell the story how I had everything set into motion to take my life. I couldn't handle it anymore. Anthony had no clue. And hearing Donald Trump mention illegal immigration that day when he said he's going to run for president stopped me in my tracks. That stopped me from committing suicide. I didn't know what was ahead of me, what I would get into, but I knew something was better. So you have those choices. You kill yourself, you stay in a dark room, medicated, don't know who you are, waste away, or you fight. And my son was such an amazing man. I owe him. He gave me the best 30 years of my life. He
would not want you to be sad and depressed. He would be wanting you to be a fighter.
He told me, go kick ass. I feel him around. He's showing many signs.
Good for you.
And I know he would do twice that. He would be even
Hold
louder.
on, Sabine. Hold on. I'm giving you a Dom hug. Hold on. There you go.
Thank you. So that's where the strength comes from. And I met so many incredible angel moms. And I want to put that out there before I forget. When Voice contacted me about coming to DC to celebrate the 1-year anniversary of the creation of Voice, the office, Victims of Immigration Crime Engagement, it was just supposed to be a celebration of 1 year in existence. And then it became bigger. And then I heard, okay, the president wants to be involved in it. It was supposed to happen end of April, right before I went to Germany. Didn't happen. I come back, and then the invites went out. I heard 50 families were supposed to be invited. And I wanted to share this with all the angel moms. I know how it feels when you feel left out. When
Especially,
you don't get
people
the
like
invite.
Wendy Jo Brown, who was mistreated with information. Yeah.
Oh, no, that was a whole different story with the Remembrance Project, who just did a number on a lot of us.
Hold on, because we're going to be doing a phone call to Miss Maria Espinosa. Just let you know that. I've been trying to get in contact with her, and her people hang up on me.
Yeah, I bet. But as far as that last visit to DC, it was supposed to be 50. It changed. It was so fluid that it changed constantly. And then they picked the families that were there. And each one of us, we carry your loved ones with us when we're out there. And I know the feeling of not being invited and feeling left out. It's horrible.
Would you be able to do me? Can you do me a big favor before I forget? Sure. Can you get in contact with Judy Zito, who, because of Tanya, I was able to share her story, but she's been left out, and her son Blake, the things that happened to him, I can't even imagine. I've been trying to be a big supporter of every single angel family I've interviewed so far, and we need to get them connected with ABIAC and with Voice, and their story is crazy.
And we're gonna share how you get in contact with us at ABIAC. So I just wanted to make sure that all the angel moms, angel dads, angel families, I want you to know this had no reflection on you, on your child, on your loved one. It's just, it's crazy when they put this together. And please know, I speak for myself. When I share Dominic, or I speak out against illegal alien, all of your loved ones are right there in our hearts. They're not forgotten.
And what people need to remember is you're not just speaking out as a victim. You're speaking out as a mother. You're speaking out as a parent, as somebody who lost their child. When I couldn't even imagine losing my baby. You know what I mean? My son. I couldn't imagine. When these liberal idiots are out there and they've been drinking the Kool-Aid and they're brainwashed, they don't have kids yet. So to them, the numbers don't make sense. But the parents who are watching what you're going through know, and their hearts are with you, that we have a big problem in America with ignorance, and there needs to be a lot more people voted out of office who are supporting. We have illegal alien criminals running for government. Can you believe that?
Yeah, it's insane.
Democrats out.
Yeah, and running offices,
businesses,
and
you know what I mean?
Opening businesses. I love it when I hear about somebody being caught, finally be deported. Oh well, he had 3 houses and 2 businesses. What? How? It's all backwards, but I think we're gaining momentum. There are many angel families. There are some of us who, I'm loud now. I don't care who you are.
Sabine,
I'm not going to cuss you
I am no longer afraid to offend anybody. When we have people who are coming from other countries illegally, making $6,549 a month. They got 4 wives, 12 kids, and they're living for free, going to Walmart, buying groceries, and opening up their own stores, while Americans are left behind, and we have Americans in poverty losing their homes. I'm no longer afraid.
Yeah.
No longer
And you
afraid.
can get your message across without being rude or offensive or anything. But I think we're gaining momentum because we're being more voiceful. We're coming out of the shadows. And I get a lot of messages on Twitter, email of angel moms. I just talked to one last night. She lost both of her kids and her husband. Talking with her, text messaging. She didn't want to be on the phone. I like to text a lot more too than talking. She
Hey,
is
you've seen my
afraid to
text
come
messages.
out.
I suck. I fat finger the crap out of it, and I misspell words. I'm sorry.
No, this works real good now. But she was sharing that she's afraid to go. She can't do it yet. But she looks at us, and it's like we speak for her. So it's becoming bigger. The angel family movement is getting bigger. We're gaining
Yes.
traction. There are some that don't want to speak yet, but they might speak in a couple of months. It took me a while. Everybody is doing it in their own time, in their own way.
Yes,
But
and
we
then what
have
we need to remember
continue.
too is we need to make sure that we evaluate the grassroots movement, conservative movement to keep Donald Trump into power, in office. And we need to make sure that the people who are doing these videos who want to make profit only, DML, and others, I'm not going to mention their names because I'm afraid to go off on them yet, because I want to make sure I got the facts there. But we do not need to be acting as pathetic as the liberal left. I've been seeing people who I've met throughout the years going into town hall meetings and disrupting people's work. There's a way to go about it in a responsible fashion to show that we are not only well put together in our thoughts, but that we don't have to be causing chaos like the liberal left. We need to be more responsible.
And today, I don't know if you saw it at the Hart Building in D.C., they had protesters all over the place. Let me share something with you. 7 of us from ABIAC, our board members, we went to D.C. and we had appointments with all kind of different Democratic senators, try to change their mind about, illegal immigration and what it does. And as you walk into that building, it's like walking into an airport. There's a scanner and you have to go through, you have to put your bags through. They told us, we had the big posters of like this poster. Yeah. We had those with us. They told us when we get in there, we have to hold the poster like this, not like this. And we have to be quiet. Because we thought, okay, if we act a fool in there, 7 of us screaming, hollering, the media would show up. But then what does it do? Nothing. So we act like civilized people, even though we have a reason to go ape shit on everybody. So we walk in there and we get kicked out of Kamala Harris's office. She was ready to call the Capitol Police on us. But yet you have 100 illegals or illegal sympathizers go into the same building. They get to act a fool, and it took Capitol Police quite some time to finally get them out. And then while they're there, why don't have ICE buses all around at every exit, put all of them on an ICE bus, take them to a detention center and figure it out whether they're illegal or not.
Oh, yeah.
There's too much. They have too much rights. They get more arrogant. They get more, undocumented and unafraid. They don't care. Nothing happens anyway. It has to change. Our president, thank God, got a grip on it. He's making sure the angel moms, angel families are not forgotten. He's fighting.
You know what's sad? You know what's sad? It takes a person who's not a career politician, a person who's being attacked brutally every single day by every single person who's so ignorant. I mean, when you watch the media interview Donald Trump, they're trying hard to push a question to persuade him, and it's pathetic and stupid. You know what I mean? And when I saw him sitting back, I don't know, because you were speaking at the time, if you saw his facial expression, that's the real Donald Trump. He was in shock that the media was acting the way they do to him, to you guys, and his facial expression showed it. He proved with one look that the fake news is pathetic and that people need to start looking at other outlets for facts.
But you know what the funniest part is to me when we heard, because we have people now, we know people behind the scenes.
Yeah,
So
I
I
know.
was told by a cameraman while we were telling our tragedies. The cameraman from some of the Main Street media in the back of the room were cracking jokes and making bets. Oh, let's see who cries first. Oh, I wonder which one's gonna break down. Really disrespectful. And then I hear one of the news anchors complain about these angel parents complain about the media fading away as they faded away. Hello?
No,
Maybe
what
if it
made me
wouldn't
mad,
fade away, we wouldn't talk about it.
and I called a friend of mine who works for Fox. What made me
Yeah.
mad was the fact that they were trying to say that you guys were weaponizing the deaths of your children. You were weaponizing the deaths of your children to prove a political point, which is stupid. What we have going on right now is we have brain dead idiots who are working for news affiliates who are going out there and trying their hardest to destroy America by attacking innocent victims, which is you and the rest of the angel families, and trying to politicize your guys's. I mean, your kids died, and it's a very sad and hurtful thing that these people don't get it because they still have their kids.
Oh,
It's
they
not
get
gonna
it all right.
when they lose their children, when they lose a child, these congressmen lose a child in war. When they lose a
They'll
child
sit
because
with
of an
us.
illegal alien
Yep.
criminal, maybe they might wake up. When Chuck
Yep.
Schumer's lesbian daughter, you know what I mean, is forced to deal with an illegal alien criminal, maybe he'll stop trying to shut down the White House and stand up for you guys.
Yeah. Well, but the irony of it is, Eric, while they accuse us, or no, they accuse the president of politicizing our deaths. Who's running 24/7 politicizing children at the border?
Yes.
That was nothing else mattered but these children, they're freezing to death, 70 degrees,
Yeah.
acting a fool, running over, stepping over our own children in need, our homeless, our veterans.
Yep.
For what?
And how
To put on a
pathetic.
show
You're
at the
wearing
border?
you're wearing your son's ashes around your neck, and
Yeah,
they're crying about the
yeah,
illegal alien criminal children who are being
yeah.
trafficked into the United States
Yes, they are
illegally.
safer. They are safer in those detention centers than they were when they were brought over. Out of 12,000 children, 10,000 were unaccompanied. Who sent them? And then the other question is, if somebody has, and I was told this firsthand story, the father came over here illegally. He sent for his daughter, $4,000. Untaxed, nothing. It's just under the table.
Yeah.
He sent for his 12-year-old daughter to be brought over by a mule. She was raped 3 times. So it's not desperation. It's not they looking for asylum. That's the biggest bunch of crock I heard. Because if they wanted asylum, they have 9 places in Mexico that they can go to file for asylum, and they won't be separated from their kids. And I'm sick of these politicians going out, putting these tears on and getting all irate about these, how we treat these children. And around the corner, you have a family living in a car, an American family.
Yes. Yes. And you have
go,
kids with no food in their stomach.
Yes. But you go down to the border, bring your camera team with you so you look good. I want Americans to be taken care of first. And I told somebody, and I don't even know who I told that, and she just looked at me a little puzzled. I said, if I have 4 children at home, starving, nasty, filthy house, but I go down the street and play with those kids and feed the neighbors' kids and all nice, you call CPS on me.
Yeah.
But you let American kids go homeless, hungry. There are, I think the number was, and I like to stay away from numbers, 1.6 million children in need.
1.6 million,
Even
yes.
if it was 100 children in need. How about we take care of our own first, like I take care of my house first, my Anthony, our dogs, and then I help somebody else. I
Yeah.
can't run all over town feeding everybody while here people passing out of hunger. And
Well, just imagine this. If those people who have this movement, and I'm talking to you and we know each other, if they have this movement, right, and they're making $1 per donation, you would think that they would try to donate a little bit of that money back to their own state or their own city as they're standing up they're being freeloaders and they're going on vacations and spending this money when they could be helping a poor homeless child and show they're better than the liberal left. And what
well,
pisses me off is we have,
yeah,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
there are a lot of organizations that claim to help, and they really don't.
And they do.
But and then you get the other part of it, which absolutely chaps my behind, is when I hear, well, Americans commit more crimes than illegal aliens. Let me think about this one. What's the percentage? Well, they only commit 11%, let's say, of crimes. Oh, okay. So if in those 11%, your mother, wife, sister, daughter is a victim, would that change your mind? How about a big fat 0% of crime? No crime by illegals, because they shouldn't be here.
Well, how about this? How many times have I talked to an Angel family, and you've watched every video, and the person who's talking, the cops have told that person that it's easier just to forget about the situation than to do the paperwork. So that's not a real number anyway, because they're not reporting the crimes that the illegal alien criminals are committing.
Yeah. And I don't care what the number is. If there are 5 deaths a year, that's 5 too many. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of talking to new Angel families. I'm tired of every time they show somebody, or I see something on the news and they talk about a Richmond man. We know that's an illegal alien. The scab on my heart is being ripped up.
Sabine, when I saw you on stage talking, because I feel like I know you pretty good, I was thinking about every Democrat that has a big giant wall around their house. Paul Ryan, Joe Kennedy III. These hypocrites that need to be bitch slapped. They have these big giant walls around their house, and they're talking about how we don't need to build one in America and how we can't get one because of hills. And the Great Wall of China is huge and goes all over. We need to build that wall and make sure that we protect kids. American dreamers.
But the thing is still, and people, I can talk till I'm blue in the face, and even with what we experienced with the death of Dominic, because it's not just the family affected. His friends are still suffering from that. They are still affected by losing their friend.
The people who showed up to the scene, scene and worked on your son are affected by that.
Yeah.
That could be their kid.
They were his buddies from the fire station where he volunteered. They couldn't even, all they could do is cover him with an American flag. And then they had the highway patrol take over because they couldn't handle it. But all this is going on. And then there are still people who still say, but they're escaping violence and they poor. Okay, if they so poor, how can they put together $7,000-8,000 to pay a coyote to bring him over, or a mule? How come? Where do they get that money from? Well, they have somebody here work under the table tax-free while they get all kind of government benefits, cleaning up, 5 in a house, bringing the rents sky high because they can afford it. Nobody else can. And they send that money back. But instead of fixing their own country, they come here. And we're supposed to feel sorry. And I'm fresh out of feeling sorry. I just don't anymore.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I'll tell you what.
I'm
fresh out of I'm fresh out of people who want Jeff Sessions to be the AG. That guy going down there and pathetically explaining to people why we have to follow our own laws that another president put in place is stupid. Yeah. When these people are jumping over the border, they're bringing drugs. They're bringing heroin, crack cocaine. They're using yes. They're bringing in diseases. And let's mention this too, because before we were all wearing pink pussy hats and acting like liberals, the people who came through Ellis Island were checked for disease. They were separated from their families in case there was influenza or some kind of bird flu, and we were protecting America's children. We have innocent babies. And every time I know you've seen these liberals. I know they're staring at the angel families in disgust because they're pathetic. I know you've seen them because every once in a while you get one on a camera and you got some idiot like Maxine Waters talking behind the scenes or Nancy Pelosi, and I'm going, man, I just wish one of the angel parents would just kick them in the shin or something. I mean, it's just
Yeah,
stupid.
but that would be too kind. I would rather sit
No.
and
I
just
don't
have
mean
them
I don't
killed.
mean I don't
Literally.
mean literally. I mean with
I know.
facts. You know what I mean?
I know.
Just on the microphone. On the microphone. You know what? You just
Yeah.
look at a Democrat and you say this. Until you lose your child, you will never know the way that I have to live my life from here on out. And I'll
But
always be
they don't
separated
feel
from my
that way
kid.
because they wire different. Because to them, it's okay. We have big companies. They save a lot of money. Oh, and then you get that. Well, are you willing to pay $5 for an apple and pluck your own fruit out of the fields?
Stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Hey, listen, if that saves somebody's child, I'll pay $5 an apple.
Wait, hold on. Let's go back real quick. I gotta become Paco Jones real quick. I'm not gonna steal J-Lo his fire. I'm just messing around. If people could grow their own vegetables without being treated horrifically horrible by the government, or the government not paying farmers to grow vegetables, then people would plant and pick their own stuff to eat. The Democrats don't tell you this on the microphone. Yeah. We are forced to buy from stores first, then to grow our own vegetables.
Yeah.
So those people making that stupid comment should slap themselves.
Oh, and then go to the store and see where your salad is from. I refuse. If it's from Mexico, I'm not buying it.
Exactly.
We wanted to go on a cruise, and we decided we're not going to spend 1 cent in Mexico. And then somebody said, well, the killer of your son was from Guatemala. Well, he came through Mexico. Hello. So I'm not going to continue putting money into a place that, by the way, and a lot of people didn't know, people here go to any Walmart, any Western Union, they're sending money, big money, to their home countries. Money they get here through not paying taxes. Oh, no, they pay taxes. Yeah, exactly. When they buy gas, they pay the taxes. You're right. So let's say you pay $10 million in taxes. You're pulling in $335 billion.
Do you know how much $5,000 in Mexico is? You can build a mansion in Mexico with $5,000. That's disgusting.
So they send money back to their country and they build up the biggest houses, whatever they can do, while they're depleting our resources.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait, hold on. This isn't making sense to me, Sabine. Wait, hold on. You're telling me that liberals have forgot the standard of the money difference when you take $40,000 tax-free that you made doing basic labor back into Mexico and you're a millionaire.
Yeah, absolutely. They smart. Hey, that's why the Mexican government doesn't want the wall. They don't want this to stop. They don't want the drug cartels to stop bringing fentanyl in that could kill 3 to 7 million Americans.
Yeah.
It's the egos, it's the power, it's the cheap labor, it's the votes. And as soon as people will realize that they are no longer that important, Americans, that illegals are more important. Because the other thing is, what really upsets me is I don't want any child to suffer. I don't care if it's an illegal child or not. I don't want no child to hurt, to suffer, to experience things that they shouldn't. But in no time, they put up air-conditioned tents for them.
Yes.
I'm sure we have some homeless people and some homeless families, some veterans that would really enjoy a night in an air-conditioned tent with a nice meal.
Well, on that note, because we're both Christians, on that note, you know how many churches that are illegally harboring illegal alien criminals? And they won't give money back to the homeless. They won't open their church doors. They won't ring the bells for Americans that have no food in their stomach. But they will give brand new clothes, 3 square meals a day, and fresh linens and showers because they're being paid. How disgusting is that? They're not truly working for the Lord Jesus Christ. They're out there taking money from Democrats.
Yeah. The thing to me, and it's pretty simple, is there's somebody breaking a law. Oh, that's my big ferocious dog. There are so many people making big bucks off illegals. It's a scam. It's a big business. It's fraud. It's so many things, and it just needs to stop, because as we look around,
Sabine, they only talk about MS-13. The real mafia in Mexico that is running drugs with our government through small airports to keep people hooked on heroin and crack cocaine, that needs to be investigated. MS-13 is not the real mafia. The real mafia is like Julio Escobar and those guys who were running drugs with the CIA and the FBI, but nobody talks about that. See, they're scared to mention the truth. We're looking at little thug gangbangers like my sisters might be trying to date back in high school or something, you know what I mean? And the truth is, the real Mexican mafia is working with our government, and they're the Democrats running drugs and many other things into our country.
Yeah, and for me, because Dominic German Chocolate, he was a black young man. So hold on, let me grab my pit bull. Hold on. Come here.
We're taking this commercial break brought to you by Powerade. And I don't care about FIFA or whatever's on this cup, so I'm going to take a drink of my conservative Kool-Aid.
So this is my ferocious animal. He just needed some loving. This is Bubba's.
Man, I'll tell you what, I think he could take 3 or 4 gangbangers by himself.
Easy. He grabs onto the ankle and to the big toe. Oh, he's vicious, huh? Yeah. And look at the what he's wearing is he's wearing Dominic's bracelet for his what you call it, collar. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So anyway, Dominic, being a young black man, speaking German chocolate, I experienced things being around him, the prejudice.
Well, here's something you didn't mention. Number one, his father was a veteran, somebody who served in the military. That's how you met his dad.
He was in the military. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So you're talking about another person, even if he wasn't there, whatever happened. You know, we have so many people fighting for our country right now, and I'm going to use that as an example because the Democrats forget about this. It's our job to protect other people's families while we have people out there fighting wars. You know, as American citizens, as police officers, as anything that you do, it's our job to protect other people's families while they're serving overseas. So that message is for the stupid liberal.
And not just that, but with the experience of Dominic being black and looking into that area, I've noticed that a lot of Democrats are black, but now they're starting to leave because they realize that the Democrats are really doing nothing for the black communities.
Nope.
They building up, they collected, well, how many millions just now for these children in a GoFundMe? Is it 20 million or something like that? But Chicago, children getting shot every day. Baltimore, all these big cities are falling apart. They predominantly black. And nobody cares.
And the truth is, nobody talks about it. It's black on black crime. It's black on black crime.
Yeah.
It's sick.
I want other black little boys like Dominic. When I always shared with him that he could become anything he wanted to be. Anything. Didn't matter what. So you want to be a rocket scientist? Anything. He says, yeah, okay. But I could never be president. I was like, yes, you could. Of course you could. He said, no, because I'm black. And it jolted me because I never saw color in him, but it made me aware that he was 10 years old and that's how he felt. So he felt he could never be because every president is white. So then Barack Obama came along.
Hold on, stop right there. I got to tell you something just to make you laugh real quick. I think Donald Trump's the first black president in the United States. I'm just leaving it right there.
He has done a lot, absolutely.
And I'm talking about for the NAACP. I'm talking about for Jesse Jackson, who keeps going against him. You know, he's donated the most money to black organizations. He's also helped people who are inferior at the workplace because they're homosexual or they might be Jewish. go to Mar-a-Lago and have jobs and all these other hotels, but they forget about that.
Well,
These people who are afraid of Donald J. Trump, he's hired so many Antifa members. You know what I mean? Just nuts.
Donald Trump wasn't called a racist until he started running for president. He was
Exactly.
celebrated by the black community because
I used to listen to 3-6 Mafia. Every single song was Mr. Trump. I want to be a billionaire like Donald. It's just stupid.
Yeah. Well, and I remember when Donald Trump doing his speeches, at one point Anthony just stood up and he said, "Right on," because he said, "What you gotta lose? Give me a chance. Let me show you what I can do." Because right now nothing's worked before with Democrats. But I learned all this over the last almost we're going on 6 years. So it was a rude awakening. It was a brutal awakening because in your head, you don't want to believe that you're being set up. You're being set up to fail, that an American family or a legal immigrant family has to work so much harder while others just cross the border, say, "Oh, I'm so poor. I had to run away from violence. I need some money."
We need to cheer because check this out. There have only been about 3 times when I've really seen the providence of God. When Enza was born, well, when I got married to Gina and my life was perfect, and when I had my baby, and when I saw Donald Trump standing on that podium, baby, as the president of the United States, because everybody was like, Eric, I was back in 2015 when he first announced he's going to win. Everybody called me crazy. I had haters on Facebook. Proverbs 2, God puts people into places and he takes people out. He has been providentially put there as the president of the United States. I don't care who you are, your liberal party. Go read Proverbs 2. There you go.
Well, it's time that people really start to wake up, look around. And for any parent out there, I remember when I heard of another mom losing a child, it tore my heart up. When Dominic would come home and share some of the stories that got to him, especially with children during his dispatch days. When the call came in, my child can't breathe, dying while he's on the phone with him. Your mind as a parent won't let you go to that degree of pain that we feel. It just won't let you. You know it's the worst. It's the biggest nightmare of every parent, but it won't let you go there. Okay, so I don't blame people for not understanding. They can't imagine. I got it. But when you look around you and you see that a certain part of the government runs and trips over themselves to help somebody that's not even supposed to be here.
Well, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something, Sabine, because we're not doing an Angel Mom interview. We're doing the truth, the real news stuff, and I just want you to tell these people. Okay. When you see Maxine Waters, because I know this is going to affect you. When you see Maxine Waters out there calling for the death of the president and beating up conservatives, what does that do to someone like you, who's an angel mom? The only person standing up for you is Donald Trump.
Well, yeah, and it's hurtful, it's embarrassing, but she puts fight in us, in me at least.
Yeah, well, it's sad because here's a black lady that has been strong in the past, helping other people become politically inspired. Facebook's getting mad at the truth.
She hasn't done nothing for her constituents.
Yeah, done nothing. Done nothing.
Nothing. Go to her district and see how bad it looks there. So there's a lot of talk, but people need to realize that this doesn't just happen every other week. The death of an American at the hands of an illegal happens every day.
Single day, yeah.
We're talking about rape, child molestation, fraud, tax fraud. Just think of, for anybody watching, your kids in school. They have to speak Spanish.
Hey, check this out. Hey, check this out. They need to get rid of the FBI and the CIA that we have in America and come up with a new organization of people who will do their job and investigate people like Maxine Waters. They need to go investigate people connected to the child trafficking. There's 800,000 kids that go missing a year, 1 in 4 kids who are hungry, and go do this investigating and start putting handcuffs on these people. She's calling
Yeah,
for
and I
violence
want to
against the
tell
President of the United States of America.
I want to
Nuts.
tell some of these politicians that are so irate about the treatment of these children in Nazi camps, and I mean they just embellish this to the they crack me up at times because they're so stupid. I said, okay, if you just came from a American homeless shelter and you
Exactly,
took care
yes.
of business there, and then you go down to the border for your little photo op, I'm okay. Okay, cool. But you're not. You're not. You politicizing. See all the big words I know now?
Yeah, I
You
know, right? I'm over here going, man, I forgot to say that. No, I'm just
yeah,
kidding.
you
I need to get better with my
politicizing
verbiage.
those children in order to push your agenda. And I know it's hard for people to grasp what's going on. That
Yeah.
Americans are being pushed aside to make room for all these new voters. But if we don't wake up, if people don't wake up, they're going to learn the hard way like I had to learn. But then on the other hand, we get it when we get it. Some people never
Yeah.
get it. They
And
will argue
this is
with me. Yeah, they will argue with me about illegal aliens. And well, your son could have been killed by an American. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But he wasn't. Now, where are we going to go with this? My son, all the angel parents, their kids would still be here. You and I wouldn't know each other. I would watch our president on TV and never been to the White House, never been inauguration. All that was great, but I would rather be home and just watch it from afar while my son, I can see him come through the front door. Because people don't realize that this doesn't stop with the burial or the
it doesn't.
cremation. 6 years
Doesn't.
later, Eric, Anthony and I are going to get married. My son can't walk me down the aisle. I wanted to spoil his kids with big drum sets, electric guitars, lots of noise, big pots, payback for all the noise. I can't do that. I won't hold a grandbaby ever.
Yeah.
Now that we moved to Arkansas, we created our little paradise here. And when we sit in the back and I have nothing but nature around me and the chirping of the most incredible birds, I want my son by my side. When I get older, all the things I saved for him, his Legos, his toys for his kids, I handed a lot of them to his friends. But there are things around here that won't matter to anybody else. It stops with me. And I hear other families who still have other kids. He was my only, so that was it for me. But other families with other kids who now have to worry about their other siblings, their other children, how they dealing with the loss of their brother and sister.
Oh yeah. When you hear when you hear of people like I'm friends with Judy's daughter. There's always a day where they stop everything they're doing and they remember their brother or their son, Blake.
Yeah.
When you talk to some of these other families, Marianne's watching right now. She has her kids do the same thing. They all stop what they're doing.
They
and they
all
have to
hurt.
remember their brother and their son. We need to really fight. And you know what? I got inspired because I talked to someone big that's big on Facebook. I did not think I was going to get an unexpected phone call from this person. We need to try to get more. I'm not just saying for getting Donald Trump elected. We just need to keep doing as much as we can. It's not about money. It's not about trying to get Facebook famous. These people I keep seeing on Facebook.
No, it's really because if you're not touched at your heart and a tear wells up in your eye when you hear any of us talk about our losses, you might need to find a spot in the ground and just lay in it because you have no heart and no heartbeat.
Yeah.
So the awareness is finally coming up. But
it makes me a better parent. It makes me go hug my kids, love my wife. I'll go and kiss Enza 45 times and go, you know what? I got to start doing something because I'll tell you what, we have crooks in the grassroots conservative movement that are using this as a political weapon for something they might do like whatever her name is. I'm so pissed right now because I tried calling and they would not answer. Those people who use it as a weapon, and then you find out that they want to become a Democrat. They want to become a liberal. They're talking to Black Lives Matter when they were sitting on stage with Donald Trump. There are so many infiltrators, and that's what we need to do. We need to weed out. We need to let them be like Psalm 1. Blessed is the man that does not walk in step with the wicked. You know what I mean? Or the scornful, whatever your Bible version is. We need to start making sure that the always Trumpers are standing up tall and the people who were never Trumpers are gone.
Yeah. Which is, we need to stop being afraid of speaking out. Not everybody has to like what you say. I don't care if somebody agrees or not. We can talk, we can disagree, but don't come at me crooked. Don't tell me, like somebody told me yesterday, so Trump signed your son's picture. What's that going to do? Well, it's not for you. It's for me. I asked. Yeah. We all asked for him to sign it. It's not for you to decide what's good or not. Oh, I want to tell you something real quick about.
Go ahead.
About Black Lives Matter. It's a little funny. So
yeah, okay, go ahead.
I started Twitter. And it kind of gotten big, and I hit them between the eyes at times, and then sometimes I'm a little funny, and so I reached out to Black Lives Matter, and I asked them, where were they when Dominic got killed? Where were they?
Yeah.
This guy from Black Lives Matter responded, your son was only half black. So my
I remember you told me that, yeah.
Well, half of you didn't show up either. So
yeah.
I still think of that, but
did you tell them that Barack Obama was only half black? Did you tell them that?
No.
He was actually a white guy.
Yeah, after that, I left.
He's actually related to Bush. He's actually a Bush himself.
Oh my. But we have politicians that aiding and abetting illegal
and abetting illegal alien criminals.
They know they are illegals, and they keep getting a break. And people need to realize and really ask themselves, well, why would an American politician that's paid by our taxes fight harder for illegals than for us? Maybe then they get it. Maybe they get it when something happens to them. Oh, for instance, when an illegal alien hits your car, and now he runs because his little hoopty is not worth but $300.
And he's got no insurance.
But your insurance goes up. So now you've been impacted by an illegal. Thank God nobody got killed or hurt. Oh, that wakes you up. And I've seen it. I talk to people, and that's what sadly has to happen.
Or how about this?
Where they get it.
Or how about this? You have someone like Billy Inman, whose son was brutally murdered in a car accident. His wife has been basically stuck to a wheelchair since the accident. Yeah. And people go and harass that poor man and his wife all the time. And he's just working hard and taking care of his disabled wife.
He's an amazing man.
It's out there who go and mess with him.
He's just the most amazing. He's so kind with his wife, and he takes such good care.
Oh, he's awesome.
But they suffered greatly, and there was no help. But before I forget, it's a little public announcement. If anybody has been a victim of an illegal, whether it's tax fraud, identity theft, check your children's social security numbers.
Yes.
Please make sure you check them when they're little, because somebody might have them already. And when your child goes on make some money on a little paper route, and they get their first check, so check your children's social security. But if you have become a victim of illegal alien crime, please call Voice. There's a 818-554-8-VOICE. Voice. They have agents. They listen, and they will try to help you. That's an office that was created for victims because we didn't have any of that. Donald Trump created that office.
Yes, he did.
Okay. The other one is, we got tired of people out there claiming to help victims when they help their own pockets and their own agenda. So we decided, 7 of us.
People like Maureen, people like Marianne, people like you.
Yeah. We created AVIAC. AVIAC is Advocates for Victims of Illegal Alien Crime. We are building it up. Contact us at aviac.us. It's the website. Join us on Aviac USA on Twitter and Facebook. Get your stories to us. Sign up. There's a sign up space on the website. We can build this and we can get stronger, because together we are stronger than just one here or there. And
Yes.
we have to speak up. We can't stop it. I know it's hard, and there are days, each one of us, I have days where I don't want to hear nobody, I don't want to see nobody. I want to be in a dark room. But it's not going to do me good. It's not going to do Dominic any good. It's not going to do anybody else good. So get on our website, sign up. We're trying to build this, and if a victim contacts us, I might not be able, I don't have money to give you. We're working on getting donations and fundraisers together. It's not as easy.
We're working
as
on trying to help you guys with that too. I've been in contact with many people who don't want anything back. I want to put this on Facebook because I'm getting attacked real quick. I don't want any money. This is something you can do for free. Facebook videos are free. Nobody should be trying to get money from doing an interview for the guy who attacked me. I'm not Dennis Michael Lynch. I'm just saying that. And for you, me, and Jeffrey Long, we're trying to work on something to try to help you guys. I don't know what we're going to do yet, but he's so smart. He's giving me like 12 ideas.
It's developing every day. Every day is something. But you have somebody. When I realized, and I remember when I talked to Don Rosenberg the first time, and he told me he lost his son, Drew. There's a connection between us that nobody has. And we can look at each other and we know, because a lot of times we'll get asked, oh, how you doing? Oh, we're fine. We're not. We're lying. We become the best actors. We're not fine.
Yeah, you're broken. You guys have a bond. Yes.
But we have that bond. That's the perfect, we have that bond. And whether somebody's very active or not active at all, it doesn't matter. You still have somebody you can reach out to. Even if you just want to vent for a minute, I get you. I got it. I understand that it just ticked you off, that the grass had grown a little bit and it's just the worst. Because some days are like that. The smallest things set us off. So contact us on Twitter, Facebook, on the website.
Sabine.
Even if we can't help with money right now or anything, but we are there and we will together help. Find somebody to help you. Contact Voice. It's there for us.
When you're in that dark place, because I battled depression a couple years, well, it's been a while now. When you're in a dark place and you don't feel like talking about it, I want you to remember that when that wise-ass kid Eric calls you to do another video, that you've inspired a new generation to stand up for you guys. We don't want money. We don't want Facebook.
No.
Every time I see these Facebook idiots, they're out there, they're getting 45,000 views, and they're misleading the message. We need to have character.
If you only had one,
we need to be honest. You know what I mean? It's about integrity. It's not about money. I keep seeing these people, they're changing their Make America Great hats to their own name. Keep America Great to their own name. They forgot about the truth. We're trying to save our country. We're trying to stand up for the people who can't stand the kids being killed in Planned Parenthoods and angel families and Blue Lives police officers who are being assassinated while they're getting gas. We need to be strong and tell the truth. And I want you to tell Tony something.
I will.
He rocks, because I know that your guys' spouses and your husbands and your boyfriends or whatever's going on, it takes a toll on them too. And tell him I said thank you for getting on, because I'm trying to get you in contact with somebody who's not a fraud that I think would write an amazing article and give more facts than the people every time they go out to interview you guys, they cut you off in 5 minutes. It's getting pathetic. Even Fox News. How many times, like Maureen told me, they went out there and did 3 hours with you two. They go out there for 3 hours and do an interview, and they use 5 minutes.
That's a long time too. But when you said we got to stand up, I have a little saying, it's in the living room. It says, if you don't stand up for something, you'll fall for everything, anything.
Oh yeah.
We have overcome the worst that could happen. There is nothing worse. You can take my arms, my legs, cut them up, take my house, everything. I don't care. The worst already happened. So I survived that. Thousands of us survived that. Now we have energy that we can pour into doing something worthwhile in the name for our kids, to honor our kids. And I understand if you can't go out there, if you just don't have it in you, that's okay. But you might have a talent that we might be able to use, and you can be behind the scene. Not everybody's out there speaking.
Yeah, you can do camera work, public speaking.
Together.
You can help organize stuff. I mean, donate your time.
Well, you know, the other organization, I'm not even going to name the name. 20 families left that organization because we realized it wasn't any good for us. Though all these families have incredible talents and power and stories to tell that we can bundle up and we can do it. Because when you have skin in the game,
and AVIAC, you guys are on Twitter and you guys are also on Facebook. And you guys post tons of articles all the time about what's wrong in America.
We share all the things we find out. Then you have incredible patriots with the what is it? The Illegal Alien Crime Report.
Yes.
Is it illegaliencrimereport.com? Dave is putting together amazing data, you know, for people that don't believe it. And you still have the ones who say, well, you know, they don't hurt as much and they're not all. You always find that it's okay. That's not what's going to stop us. Because I'm not going to think of what's going to stop me. I'm only thinking of what's going to make me move forward. I can't go back. If I go back, I'll lose my mind. Next month on the 12th is 6 years since I hugged my child.
Yeah.
Since I heard his roaring laughter that would make me laugh so hard. 6 years. So I can't go back. I can't bring him back.
But you know what?
Sure that somebody else doesn't have to feel this. I'm tired of seeing broken moms and dads. I'm tired of feeling their pain. We stood behind Donald Trump in the Oval Office. I felt the energy and the shaking of all of us because we were all connected standing back there. We have each other. We have support. But we can't just sit back and wait for it. It's not going to knock on our door. We have to get out there and do something. You know, contact us and we'll work it out. And if one falls, the other one is there to pick him up.
And you know what we need to do? Because I have friends that are pastors that watch this too, and people who go to church and all this. We need to start calling the frauds out, and we need to start getting biblical too with the way we treat other people. And we need to, as a church, ring the bells and bring the truth to the nation and stand up for all God's people who are legal citizens.
Yeah.
And forget about
mean what you say.
Yeah, and mean what you say. Because here's the thing: in the Bible, it states that you submit to your worldly government so that there is order in the nation. So when people say, "Oh, they're hateful," and God said, you know, all this other crap because they're not reading their Bible, so I'm not going to quote what they're saying because it's misread Scripture. But you know, Jesus stated that you need to submit to a worldly government because that creates order, so there's no chaos. You're being a Christian when you stand with angel families and open the church doors for hungry veterans first before these people who are hopping over the border with 2 Bud Lights and big underwear. Yeah, I mean, we're paying taxes for people to get underwear.
Yeah, or driving big escalators.
It escalates, no lie.
I won't have to go without.
And it's not just Mexico. We have Canadian illegals, Mexican, South America, the Middle East, China. Yeah. It's nuts. We're being invaded.
Yeah.
We are being invaded.
It has nothing to do with color. I always say, well, illegal is not a race. So that is an old, worn out thing. It's not about color because if you're from Germany and you're here legally, get out. Get back in line. And one more thing I want to tell people. When they talk to somebody that's all for illegals, And I said, so you're in a line. You waited 3 hours to see your child's favorite movie. 3 hours you in line. And right before you get to go in with your popcorn, here comes a family of 8 getting right in front of you, going in. You can't see the movie with your child. That's how it feels with illegals jumping the line of legal immigrants like me. You do not get to cut in line for no reason. I don't care if I wait 3 hours in a movie with my child and we want to see what's the newest thing with kids? It's not Barney anymore. That's way old. But anyway, you get what I'm saying. So when people imagine that, when they stood in line for 3 hours and somebody cuts in and now they out of it, they can't, okay, we just gave them the last seat. They would be so upset, they would be ready to fight. But it's strangely enough, when it's illegals cutting in line and getting that last seat, it's okay. No, it's not. We need to take our country back. I was never, when you mentioned God, I was always, what's the word I'm looking for? Spiritual. I knew there was a God, but I didn't read the Bible. I didn't go to church. It was just, I know you're there. When Dominic died, I knew who kept my feet walking and moving and me breathing. That was God. Only by God's grace am I still around and breathing and doing something. So we need to bring that back without pushing it down somebody's throat. But once we start,
you know what we need to do?
Somewhere,
You know what we need to do too? We need to change our character. These people who are acting a little pathetic, bothering people in public and pushing on them like the liberals do. We need to show and establish that we have better character, and that's why we're going to have Donald Trump in 2018 lead us in 2020, because of character, because they're not freaking out on the camera, because they're not beating people up in the street. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think
we won't go to that level. But
we won't go to that level. We don't need to go to that level.
You can't change nobody. You cannot change anybody, and you can't make him do anything. It has to come from within. So if I'm talking with you kindly without going off on you, I don't give you anything to attack me. If you attack me, well, that's on you. Whatever. Next. It's no big deal.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
We have, I believe this is our last chance with this president. Our last chance to get our country back to how it was before. I live here. I can leave my door wide open.
Yep.
Nobody's bothering us. But if go back to California, you can't even have your mail delivered to your house or your UPS packages because somebody's going to rip you off.
Yeah.
So
how many of the angel families I've talked to that had to move from the state they love because they were mistreated by everybody?
Here. It wasn't that I was mistreated. I had to leave because it was killing me to drive by the spot that Dominic died every day.
No, you were mistreated. You were mistreated by the government and by the judge.
Well,
were mistreated.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. But I always say karma has a big list, and there are a lot of names right on top of that list.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that list is right there. But we need to get back to the point where your children don't have to be afraid to go to school.
Yes.
Being shot. Today, the shooting at a newspaper. 5 people, 5 families, absolutely demolished. My heart goes out to them. And already you can hear the undertone in the news report, because I flip between CNN and Fox. And I'm waiting for somebody to say, it was the president's fault. We need to get back to where it was, where there's law and order, where children grow up with a respect for others and not bless them out. A 6-year-old told me to go somewhere, but we can't change others. We can only change us. And when we do better, we can expect better. And it's that little domino effect. If we take care of our own house, of our kids, with Dominic, it was I lived without regrets. I never had to think of, well, I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have said, never. I have no regrets. I have 30 years of the best memories, the best son
Hey, Sabine.
that God could have sent me.
Sabine, my phone's about to die, so I want to have you end the video. What's the best message you can leave with people, right? Because my phone's about
Right
to
now,
die on me.
I want you all to truly live without regrets. That's been my biggest lesson that my son taught me. If you want to do something, do it. Stand for it. Don't let nobody stop you. Doesn't mean you have to walk over people or hurt anybody, but live without regrets. And make sure you always tell the people around you how you feel. If you don't love them, don't tell them that. Don't fake it. But if you do, let them know. Because just because you pay a bill or because you brought home groceries doesn't mean you love. Say it. Tell them. Show them. Because you never know. I got to tell my child on July 11, 2012, how much I love him and how proud he makes me. And because of that, I can sleep at night.
Fuck, my phone died.
Love you guys.